You made a commitment to your family, the community, and everybody around you that's going to support you. You made a commitment to them. The definition of commitment is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. The second one I think is the best because it describes how you should look at it for your certain situation. It says an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. That means you can no longer go out and act like a fool up in the schoolhouse. That means you got to go home and take care of your grades. That means you have to do those things, be a good citizen and become disciplined and be a good athlete. That requires a big commitment. If you're committed, if you're fully committed, you think about those around you before you think about what you're about to do that's going to be wrong. One of the greatest football coaches in football, Vince Lombardi, says this: unless a man believes in himself and makes a total commitment to his career and puts everything he has into it, his mind, his body, his heart, what is life worth to him? That means if you're not fully committed, life is not very valuable to you in that aspect. I went through here, and there's a chart on the right. It says the more you're committed, the more you're involved. One of our biggest things is presence, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if you're committed, you're here all the time. You should live, breathe, and do what you have to get here. I put a few words up there. The first two are probably the biggest two that stood out to me. It's commitment, and I put a word for everyone: character. A person of high character demands respect. You're going to receive respect if you have high character. The next one is the obedience. That shows your ability to follow. Everybody wants to lead, but the hardest thing to do is follow those around you and follow the example they set before you. The next one is motivated. You're motivated to get here. You're motivated to make yourself and everybody else better. The next one is methodical. That means you can go through the daily routine, the grind, fight it out in the trenches, and handle it. Every day it's methodical. You're going to do something to make yourself better. The next one says integrated. No more cliques. That means you're a team. One team, one dream, right? One focus. You're all together. You're friends with everybody. The next one says teachable. You're able to take the constructive criticism we as coaches, your teachers, your parents, those around you that they give to you, and build on it. Make yourself better. The next one is malleable. That's the ability to be molded by someone to make you a better person in life. Y'all know what malleable, like metals, or some metals are malleable, and they become valuable. Next one is empowered. Empowerment means you take the responsibility on and you put yourself in charge of making yourself better. It doesn't mean anybody around you but yourself is going to do it. The next one is niche. That means you find your role on this team and you do your best at that role. You fill that role and you're not anybody but that man. The last one I put is trusting, because you have to trust. We have 50-something kids in this class. You have to trust every one of them around you to do your job. Right now you're on a team. You have to trust the man next to you to show up, to give effort, to show enthusiasm, to where your team does what? Win, right? Win. That's what we break it out with. 1, 2, 3, win. This is a result of non-commitment. The result of non-commitment in today's age, it says the addiction to change. It says that your generation is so addicted to change that you cannot be methodical. You can't do the same thing, because knowing what's going to happen makes you want something different. But you have to know what's going to happen and be methodical about it and not have the addiction to change. It says, can you be as committed as the sun? With that, it's saying every day the sun rises, correct? The sun brings life to this earth. What if the sun decided not to rise? It will lead to death. The same thing if you fail to commit. If you're addicted to the change, it's going to lead to your demise. Those things that will fall around you, your life will fall. Because those people that are addicted to change run from commitment. All right, here we go. The last part, we talked a little bit. It says, there's a few verses that I pulled out of the Bible that I think are very good. The first part talks about commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. Remember I said one of the biggest words that I was big on was obedience. It says you're a reward of obedience to God. This is one verse that you can take on the football field and just think about it. And learn, say, if I was obedient, I learned all those things the coach was talking to me, this is what's going to happen. It says you will pursue your enemies, and they will fall by the sword before you. 5 of you will chase 100. 100 of you will chase 10,000, and your enemies will fall by the sword. That means if you guys are obedient and you're committed, guess what? We're going to win a lot of football games. That state championship that y'all see so far off in front of you is right at hand. It's in your hands, whether you want it or not. It just all comes back to how committed are you to this football team and to your purpose, to your role, and being the best athlete you can be. You're good.
Excellent.
This morning, this was as of yesterday, about 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay, highlight reel, 5 points. Big shots, 12 points. Savage was 48 points. Mac Attack, 37 points. We have a battle going on. A lot of it's got to do with leadership, a lot of it's got to do with commitment, a lot of it's got to do with competition, which you will hear from Coach Curington about right now. Make sure you have your attention focused on him. Pull that screen down.
Okay. All right. Today's word is competition. It's one of the great things about athletics is competition. However, before I get going any further on that, I want to share with you the definition of competition, so we're all on the same page. All right? Competition, the act or process of trying to get or win something, such as a prize or a higher level success that someone else is also trying to get or win. Also the act or process of competing. Competition, we want something that someone else wants. That's what makes it competition. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it exciting. And that's what makes it worth striving for. Go ahead. Now, you may not realize this, but you're always competing. You may not think about that, but right now, right after this, when you go into class, or after football, you go to your class up in the school building, you're going to be competing. You're going to compete here in just a few minutes. Okay? The rest of your life, you will be competing, whether it's athletics or not. You're competing for grades right now. Anybody know what a valedictorian is? Person with the number one, the best grades in the entire class. That individual has a leg up. Used to be that the state of Texas would pay for your school for free if you went to a public university in Texas. I think they may have changed that. But you're competing for grades. All right? Higher GPA means a better college. You can't get into the University of Texas automatically anymore if you're just in the top 10%. What is it now? It's 8 or 7. All the other big schools, I'm sure, will be following soon. Better GPA, you get into a better college. Now, you're also will be competing for jobs. You go to that better school, you might be able to land a better job. Don't know a whole lot of folks that working at NASA that got 2 years worth of school at Tyler Junior College or Lone Star Community College or Tomball Junior College. Okay. So, here's the question for you. Are you going to wear a suit to work or are you going to wear a name tag? You know what I'm talking about? Name tag? You're going to be an hourly employee or are you going to make the big bucks? A lot of that sometimes will depend on your grades and then will depend on your job. You're going to be competing. You're not going to get every job you apply for. I haven't. I'm sure most of these coaches probably have not got every job they applied for. And sometimes it's a blessing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ended up here if I had taken some of these other jobs or they'd have hired me. Okay? So, you going to wear a suit or a name tag? Believe it or not, gentlemen, you're competing for girls. There are only so many pretty girls out there. All right? And you don't want to be stuck with the other. Now, I'm going to tell you this. The more money you have, the better chance you have with those pretty girls. Those pretty girls don't want to be with some guy that's broke, driving some beat-up, hoopty. They don't want to ever see a multi-millionaire with an ugly woman? Probably not. Okay? And let's face it, gentlemen, you don't want ugly children. You don't want ugly children. You're competing for girls. All right? You're competing for girls. Life is a competition. Now, right now you're in this room because you're competing for a starting position on That's why you're here. You're competing. There are probably 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 other guys that want that spot. If they aren't in here, there's some of these younger guys that just left a little while ago that would love that spot. So you're competing amongst each other for a starting spot on the varsity. Is everybody going to be a starter? No. There's only so many spots. Okay? All right. Will you be a starter, or are you going to be a backup? This is that process right now. You're determining what's going to happen in the fall. Are you going to be a starter, or are you going to be a backup? Okay. You're competing for a chance to win a state championship. State championship. Texas 4A football state championship. That'd be awesome. Go ahead. Have you seen our baseball players' rings? Boy, memories that last a lifetime. Can never have that taken away from you. Okay? Cheers for life. The only question left is, how are you competing? You're competing every day whether you realize it or not. How are you competing? Are you giving 100% effort in the classroom? Are you giving 100% effort out here on the football field or during boot camp? We know whether you're competing in the classroom by looking at your grades, and here in about 2 minutes, we're going to find out if you're how you're competing out here. All right? Let's compete today.
Excellent. 3, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. All right, who we got? Savages, what do you have today? Good. Big shots.